On Good Friday, it is the one day of the Catholic year in which the Mass cannot be said, and in fact, the bread and wine cannot be consecrated to become the body and blood of Christ. The Eucharist that is given at Good Friday services has actually been consecrated the day before. The point of that being that this is the day in which we commemorate the death of Christ, and therefore, sort of symbolically, the absence of God, and that the Pope would give permission for a funeral liturgy to be celebrated today. I think it's on the one hand a recognition of the enormous devastating blow that has been experienced by the Catholic faithful in Italy. I think also it's a practical recognition that if it weren't done today, these people would probably have to wait to next week to get through Easter in order to be able to hold a funeral mass for their loved ones, and that's not something the Vatican wanted to do.
And what will take precedence today?
Well, this is a funeral liturgy, although several of the readings from the Bible that we will hear throughout the liturgy are episodes from the life of Christ, which the Catholic Church calls the Passion of Christ, that is, his suffering and death upon the cross. So the fact that this is Good Friday will not be forgotten. In fact, the fact that this is Good Friday, I think, makes this funeral mass in some ways even more evocative, because it is the ultimate day on the Catholic calendar that is all about loss, and it's all about sorrow, and it's all about suffering, and I think in some ways that lends a particularly poignant backdrop to the liturgy that we're watching today.
And who would the Vatican, in terms of organizing such a huge event as this in L'Aquila, be taking its cues from?
Well, the actual organizers for this event would be the local bishops in Italy. Like every other country in the world, there are Catholic dioceses, that is, geographic regions throughout Italy. Each of those dioceses would have its own bishop. There is also a very powerful and well-organized conference of Catholic bishops in Italy called CE, the Italian Bishops' Conference. They would be the primary organizers of this event, and I think basically the way this worked is the Vatican called up the local bishops and said, "What do you need?" I think one thing that's worth saying is that there is another bit of extraordinary subtext here, which is that in addition to sending the Secretary of State, that is the Cardinal Bertone, who is the Pope's top deputy, the Pope has also sent his personal secretary, Monsignor Georg Ganswein. That's the man who just read the message from the Holy Father. Monsignor Ganswein is the most intimate aide of Pope Benedict XVI, and he almost never appears in public. The fact that the Pope sent him today, I think, ought to be understood as a sign of the Pope's personal closeness. In other words, he wasn't just sending a cabinet minister. He was sending the head of his own sort of household, if you like, to give his personal stamp, in a sense of his personal spiritual closeness to this event.